Hi, my name is Aishah Ali. I'm a law and poli-sci student. I'm a poet and a writer, and today I'll be reading from my debut poetry collection called MOULTING of the Mayfly. 3 really special poems to me that haven't seen the light of day, so this is going to be the first time that they're going to be out there, and I'm super excited. So the first poem I'm going to be reading is called Offshore Grief, and it is about a very specific experience I had traveling by myself to my homeland, Fiji, in 2018-2019, which is a very foreign concept to be traveling, but yes, this is the poem. It's called Offshore Grief. It is a novel thing when I am parcelled on a plane alone, and there is a great humour that my parents feared my transit to the city would let me reach Fiji's shores, its sweet and smoky air, its green mountainous glaze. Perhaps it is not how close you are, but how close you feel that begets safety. When I reach there, I tend to my Nani's wounds, her house a second site of burial after her husband's sudden passing. She is a celestial creature, so her young grandchildren circle her like moths. Her grief, a fevered dream broken open by laughter when they poke and prod and mimic her, a wooden clasp in one hand and a hip on the other. Her body is a bounce unfueled, and she itches to leave the home during the Iddah period. One time when she did, she ended up getting kidney stones the next day, so we rushed to Suva private, and she clutched me to say that this is a sign from God, and I said, "This is a sign. You have to pee." And in the grimace, she chuckled, sweat a water slide slipping off our faces, and still we had a second of relief, a lapse escaping the agony, and maybe that is the only remedy to grief. It is not something to overcome, not distance away, nor time from. It is the punctuation of the familiar, the small moments of home, of comfort, of a memory tucked behind your ear, and reappearing in your hands like magic. So that was the first piece. The second piece is called On How We Sweeten Our Stories. I get asked often how the Fijian Indian identity came to be, and so naturally I wrote a piece about it, and yeah, this is it. It is 1879 in India. Pre-petition. The British birth another sweet tooth for imperialism, displacement. Round up lower caste Indians like cattle. Leonidas boards the coolie, drags them against the Pacific, and spits them out on the plains of Fiji. People become passports of consumerism, stapled onto sugarcane plantations, intercessors for sweetness. Those that ghosted repatriation smuggled old culture into the soil, and when the melanin split through the trows, an anomaly was footnoted. Newlywed to their hybridity, the Fijian Indians bridged a new tongue and cotton-mouthed the caste system. My grandmother marries my grandfather at 16 in a tiny village in Lambasa. They are people of thoroughness. I watch her as she makes cha, dips the sweetened milk, strains the tea leaves, pours them between 2 pialas like a dance, a holy ritual. She says that this is kolan cha, well-brewed tea, that everything that is sweet and sawad has an intricate and enduring process, and that this is the tourniquet of our existence. I add 3 sugars into my froth-brimming cappuccino, mix it thoroughly, sip on the small parts of her left in me. There is nothing sweeter than belonging, or there is nothing sweeter than being a branch, even if the tree is falling and the roots are barren. Okay. This last piece is called Ramadan in Quarantine. So obviously I wrote this piece during Ramadan in quarantine, which is quite apt. I might do this as my last piece. So The room shape shifts into worship. Perhaps worship was always there, but now we saw his face clearly. In deep maroon, gold-threaded prayer mats, the scholar, a thing only half all of our size, recites scripture. It dribbles out of his sugar mouth and our hearts swell. His is a special service. Upon his call, men fold their knees and their egos, sit beside their pride. His throat the flute of God, and we cannot deny the instrument. Later, we are bees, swarm the marble dining room table, our hands a sacred orchestra, a conductor of sweet and sour exchange, a spiced vegetable spring roll for a warm crumbed samosa, a thick frothing milkshake for a cool glass of water. There is hymn in the breaking of hunger, a tune that we willingly submit to. The room somehow feels bigger than it is, than it ever was. It is as if it does not get smaller with the more people in it. It is as if we forget we are in it at all. So those are my 3 pieces from my debut collection, Moulting of the Mayfly, which you can probably catch sometime next year. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.